What is up, everyone? Welcome to the NoLife Digital Podcast. Tons and tons and tons of news. We have interesting news in the gaming realm, as well as tons of Computex updates, Computex news, AMD news, NVIDIA news, Intel news, Apple news. We got it all. All your news here, the NoLife Digital Podcast. You can tune in everywhere, Twitch, YouTube. You can tune in on your favorite podcatcher, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Radio. We are everywhere. We're all across the world, all across the net. If you enjoy the work that we do, make sure you head over to our website, NoLife.digital. It's the hub of everything that we do. Check it out. You can head over to the podcast tab if you just want to listen over on the website. And yeah, everything that we do gets uploaded right over here on the website. So go check it out. Go listen. Tune in. Listen in. All right. I don't know why that's not updating. Oh, maybe because I haven't. I see why. Let me do that right now. All right. So what's up? What's up, co-hosts? What's going on? How's everything going? How was your Memorial Day weekend?
Boring and busy.
About the same. Really didn't do that much.
I kept forgetting that it was a weekend until Monday, or like a holiday till Monday, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I did some grilling, chilling and grilling. I bought a nice grill on Friday. Lowe's had a sale on grills, so you knew I was picking up a fucking grill, dude. You knew it.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on Twitter. I almost sent you a bunch of shit about smoking meats.
My friend was smoking a bunch of meat. And I sent him the Zuck, the good old Zuck.
Someone's got like the perfect, on Twitter, they got just the absolute perfect 2-second clip of him just constantly on repeat, just smoking some meats. That's what we're doing, or like something like that. Perfect.
Yeah, we had some smoked wings. I haven't had smoked wings before, but it was pretty fucking good. And then some smoked ribs. And the ribs are fucking litty. They were litty, dog. All right, yeah, I forgot to add the podcast to the collections on that thing. All right, we're good now. All right, so let's fucking jump into it, man. Let's jump into it. I've been playing Cities as per Jerry's recommendation, and I've been really, really, really enjoying it.
Are you an addict now?
Yeah, it's super addicting. It's super addicting.
It's the best city sim. Like,
it is.
Hands down. It's not even a question, especially once you start getting mods and stuff.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about getting a ton of mods for it now.
I think it's Move It. It's either Move It or Move anything, but I'm pretty sure it's Move It. That'll let you actually click pieces where they're placed by like their ends and stuff like that, and actually drag around roads and other buildings and stuff to move them individually.
Oh, that's cool.
That one's really good. Presidential Traffic Manager. That's like the big one because that lets you actually really fix traffic, which becomes a fucking major issue, basically.
Yeah.
Those two are like the best. 81 Tiles is fun too. I would recommend that one. That one just unlocks the entire map for you for free when you start getting into like that. So you can start like approaching it like a county builder almost, which I have a lot of fun doing.
Yeah.
Where like I'll start with like a small city somewhere and then go build like the actual mega city on like the coast or something, but you can start building like little towns and stuff.
I was thinking about getting like a cheat code, like an unlimited money cheat code, and just doing it like Minecraft.
That's built in the game.
Is it?
Yeah, if you go to like from the start menu, you can go to like mods, I think, or something, or additional content or something like that, and there's an unlimited money selector just built into the game.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, awesome.
There's also like unlimited materials and stuff like that.
Yeah, and just because I kind of want to go crazy with like all the road placements and stuff like that, and it's just like that's one of the most expensive parts is building that. So fuck, I might do that and then the 81 tiles and just build a fucking world. It's really fun. It's really I love it. I love the progression of it too. I love how it doesn't hold your hand, because when I first started, I was like, this is hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what's going on. But then as you start to get good at it and you unlock different things like different taxation zones, and you can like tax, like I have like this city on the like river that's just like high class people, and I just tax the shit out of them. Start like doing different demands. I have like ghetto zones and stuff, and it's just an awesome little fucking sim game. Super chill too.
Yeah, you can do like everything like that. And the thing, I don't know, the thing I really like about it is it's pretty logical. Where like, okay, eventually your citizens, they need services, you know, like they need a police station and fire and like healthcare and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they all have like ranges on them and things like that. But like everything that's built into it, especially when you start buying a lot of the DLC, like it makes sense. Like it's like, oh yeah, no, this belongs in a city.
Yeah.
And it works like the way you would expect it, where like, oh yeah, like the police cars can go everywhere, but they're gonna be better in like their neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been digging it, man. I've been digging it. Good suggestion. It was funny too, because when we were talking about it, I looked on Steam and it was like 90% off.
Yeah, no,
so I had to pick it up.
if you're really like it that much, just start buying the DLCs when they go on sale, because like the main DLCs are great.
Mm-hmm.
The whole system's just great.
Yeah, highly recommend it if you want a chill city builder. I mean, I haven't played a better one. That one's awesome. But that's it. That's the only thing that I've really been playing that's new. I've been about to finish Sekiro. I'm stuck on Ishin, who's the final boss. And he's fucking tough. Anything with you guys? Anything new?
Just playing WoW.
Getting ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into fucking...
Well, wait, no, I forgot. I did buy Total War, and that actually came out.
You haven't played it?
I played it a little bit, but I've just mostly been really busy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of articles coming out saying it's the best Total War game. I don't 100% think it's the best Total War game, but it's a goddamn good Total War game. It's the best Total War game that's come out in probably 10 years.
Yeah.
Really. To the point that it's still like, I think number 4 on Steam right now for being played. Like it's been like, it's so far, saw an article, currently it is the best launch game on Steam this year. It like tripled
Interesting.
sales.
Really?
Yeah. So people are liking it. And I'm inclined to agree. Like the siege battles are really good. The map's actually good. It fixes a lot of the issues of the traditional map painters, and there's still some weird issues with it. I hate the UI. The UI is trash. But like the gameplay's good.
Yeah.
I want to play more of it.
Okay. Let us know when you sink your teeth into it.
Yeah, I definitely had to give that a shout out, because I was like, okay, I've always been the Total War fan here, and it's like, oh, this game's like doing surprisingly really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a lot of good reviews for it.
No, and it's so far it's worth it. It like the amount I have played, it's good. It's a bit more complex than the rest of the games have been, and I'm happy about that. It's going to take some time to really dig into those complexities, mostly because the UI's rough. The UI is rough, and if you don't know a lot of the history of like AD 300 China, like I don't know what's going on in that game, dude.
Yeah, I don't know the history of AD.
Yeah. So like I want to research
China.
more into that, because they did a cool thing where they have like the traditional map painter mode, but they have like sort of like the Warhammer series, they have a romance mode, they're calling romance mode, and like then all of the characters are like, it's from a specific book called The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and it was like a famous book, and it's all of the characters actually interact with each other, and are, like, have like superpowers almost, but they're interacting the entire time. Like when you start as one, like another person can like defect from his faction and join your faction and stuff like that. But as someone who hasn't read that, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. I know Liu Bei is attacking Lao Bei, and that's the other half of the thing, is like So many of them are named so similarly. There's Lube, which is Lu.
What is that? Total War.
Yeah, Total War.
I
But
have a friend that's playing. He did a sponsored stream of it, and it was like,
it's good.
yeah,
It's good. It's really good. But the UI is, yeah, like the actual gameplay is really good. But yeah, when you're getting into, if you don't know that history, and like that's why I'm curious in learning it, it's kind of confusing because yeah, like you can be a guy named Sao Sao who is sandwiched between Liu Bei, spelled Lu, and Lao Bei, Lau, but still the same last name. And then you'll get like, you'll go to war with Shun Zhao, but then there's also a Shun Tang, and then there's like a Shun Tan. Like literally the dude's names, there's a G at the end of the name. That's the only difference in these dudes' names. But they're two completely different factions. And I'm like, I gotta figure it out.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Because there's especially it's mostly just because of the UI too, where you're just like
Shaoling Ball.
It's not
Zhao Bao.
it's not that bad, but it's just like just because of the way the UI is set up, you're just like, dude, I okay, so which one's attacking me? I don't really know.
All right, we got some news. Former Rockstar designer says former top executive has groped him. Jason Schreier out of Kotaku coming with the heat. Colin Bunshu first started at Rockstar Games in November of 2014. He says his new colleagues offered a warning. Don't cross Geronimo Barrera, the vice president of product development, would often fly in from New York to visit Rockstar's offices in Carlsbad, California, where they were all working on the Western Red Dead Redemption 2. Bunshaw was told to be cautious when Barrera came to town. Mind how you talk to him, multiple co-workers and managers said. Barrera, one of Rockstar's top executives, had a reputation for screaming at people, and there were rumors that he had shouted at staff who'd rubbed him the wrong way, telling them they were fired. So Bunshaw wasn't sure what to do. At a work gathering shortly after he started, he says Barrera groped him, asked Bunshu to sit on his lap, and rubbed his inner thigh area. These allegations about the events from 2014 are being made public for the first time today, but in the days after the incident allegedly happened, Bunshu filed a report to Rockstar's HR department and told at least 4 other people. After an HR investigation that involved speaking to Barrera and others present, and following dispute over whether Barrera had denied the accusation or told Rockstar he didn't remember, the company ultimately found Bunshu's account to be unsubstantiated. And then with Barrera's statement, he says Mr. Barrera he says Mr. Barrera categorically denies all of the allegations of misconduct you raised with him. Tracy and Barrera would not elaborate further on comment on the specifics in the story. Mr. Barrera stands by his statement, Tracy said in an email when given more details. And then you go on to read this article, and Jason Schreier does what Jason Schreier does, and essentially interviews all of the employees, and they all talk about how this guy seemed to be somewhat of like a tyrant. He was kind of a dickhead. He put all his employees on edge. He was very like charismatic in that like some days he would come in and he would, be everyone's friend and solve a bunch of issues. Like there was one incident where they were complaining about sodas. They had to pay for sodas. And then eventually he was like, now they're free and stuff like that. But then other days he would kind of come in and it was like everyone's walking on eggshells. They don't know if they're going to be fired or not. Someone said that he was talking. They felt as if he talked to other employees as if they were frat brothers. He's very abrasive, volatile. Would fire people if they didn't play the full game or the current build of the game all the way through. It just seemed like somewhat of a dickhead, according to the accounts that Jason Schreier had brought up. And these allegations of this groping came to light, and it's pretty interesting. It seems like the team surrounding the development of Red Dead Redemption 2 there's a lot going on. You had the whole crunch thing, which basically started the whole crunch war, and then now this stuff and dealing with these executives. And I kind of want to know. I don't know. I don't really know how to take this. I don't really know how to take this kind of story because they're both former employees, one. Two, this was way after the fact that this came to light. And I don't know. I mean, it kind of sucks. You don't want to be in that situation, but why
That is
wait
all
till now?
true.
Especially since both of them are both former employees.
True, but yeah, like I don't know how to take it either, and I agree with you. But at the same time, when there's smoke, there's fire usually.
Yeah.
So just like, okay, it waited long enough to not be a pile-on article, is what I mean. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't released immediately and just piled on, and now it's just like, okay, now we're dealing with more bullshit. Yeah, something's probably happening.
Yeah, and I'm
But at the
sure.
same time, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure Rockstar is a pretty big company as well. You know, they have hundreds of devs.
And I guarantee you this kind of thing is happening at way more than just Rockstar.
Right.
Like, as we're learning now, where a lot of things are coming to light about crunch, about workplace environments like NetherRealm.
Right.
Or you can go play Path of
More
Exile.
of these stories are going to start popping up. And, I mean, where do we go from there? I don't know.
Just support Path of Exile and Grinding Gear Games. They only have like 30 people who take weekends off and vacations and are very upfront that, hey, we know our game's broken, but we're gonna go on vacation because it's our vacation time.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
feel
don't know, I
like
give them a lot of credit. They've done a really good job of like, we're not crunching.
But I also feel like that game is so specific to its core group of people that they can get away with that. Where, I mean, if Rockstar, just as an example, if they were to release Red Dead and it just wasn't working right, and they were like, "We're gonna go on vacation," it'd be a little bit more of an outrage.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that, but I think
I know what you mean.
to me it seems I don't know, I think more of the gaming industry should try to push towards that more niche specialized thing, because I think that would benefit the health long term, because for dev wise, but also I don't know, most of those games put out by like GGG and stuff like Path of Exile, for example, they made a really damn good game. Like that's what they're committed to, is just making a good product instead of like, well, we're gonna make 8 games like EA and one of them's gonna be okay and the rest suck. But then we're gonna crunch everything to do it.
Well, I would say
I'll take one really good game over 8 bad ones, I guess. That's my feeling personally.
I will say that Rockstar, I haven't played a bad game from Rockstar. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
And I think Rockstar does kind of usually more fall into that line of they try to just make a good game.
Yeah. And that's why when you hear, because like if you play Red Dead, you know, like as soon as I saw it and I played it, I was like, there had to have been so much crunch going on in this game. It's just so detailed and so massive, and there's just so much intricacy to it that I kind of understand that. But then again, I'm like, they're also being extremely financially rewarded from it. And it's just, I feel like Rockstar is a very extreme example of like a gaming company. They're very just like different from a lot of the other ones. And that's why I think when it comes to crunch and it comes to stuff like this, I don't think it's going to affect them in any way. You know what I mean? Like people are still lining up for their GTA 6. They're still lining up for Red Dead 3 or whatever else they're releasing soon. And I don't think that'll ever change just because the quality of their games are just so intense. Whereas someone like NetherRealm, you know, or someone that maybe releases a game that maybe like the Call of Duty series or something like that, where the quality just isn't at that level, something like this comes out and it can hurt them pretty heavily. I always found that interesting.
But I agree, and I think that makes sense almost to an extent, because I think it goes back to that, like, are you making a quality product or not? And usually people are more willing to overlook negatives for a quality product, and there's other ways to do it. Like to me, PoE isn't a quality product, so I overlook that it might be buggy.
Yeah.
But
and same with like Rockstar,
and that works for Rockstar too, though, where it's like I can overlook to an extent the crunch.
Yeah. Because the game is just so crazy. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's a tough line to draw. Now, this kind of stuff is a little bit more personally attached and doesn't really. I mean, I don't want to be too frank, but like what happens between an executive and an employee at that sort of level doesn't affect my view of the company nor the game. But if there's multiple instances of this where it keeps coming out, where this game was just like, it just was a fire in development, then maybe it will. But I don't know. I still feel like people are just going to line up to play GTA 6 anyway.
Probably, but like, yeah, I see what you're saying. For me, if it's a one thing that happens, no, like hate the CEO, not the company, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But like, for example, the riot situation where it was just like, yeah, no, that was just happening everywhere, and like their CEOs just did it forever. Like, no,
Right.
I'm gonna hate all of you, to be honest.
Yeah, the riot situation, I definitely feel differently.
If it's just the person, hate the person. But if it becomes the culture, then yeah, definitely you can hate the culture, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like what Jason Schreier does, because he likes, when you read Jason Schreier's work, some people will call him an SJW or whatever, but when you read his work, he doesn't really take a stance. He just shows, he goes, okay, there's this level of accusation going out there. I'm going to speak to everyone involved in the situation and take little tidbits out of what they said to me that'll help push the narrative, and not a narrative in a biased way, just to show like they're talking about what the workplace was like, and then he's going to post those segments, and you kind of come up with your own conclusion. And my own conclusion is like, this possibly could have happened. The guy seems like a dickhead, but also both former employees, and it's interesting that this popped up more recently. You would expect it to pop up when they were getting nailed for the crunch, but yeah, pretty crazy. This seems to be like something that maybe the gaming industry needed. It needed somewhat of like a wake up call. If you're managing, thousands of people and operating out of millions and billions of dollars, your company needs to reflect that. You can't be having this type of culture going on. Yeah, the YouTube Lord Sigurd, I accidentally posted it on the wrong YouTube. We have a separate YouTube for NoLife, and it should be up over there now. If it's not up, I'll do it later, but it should be up over there.
Yeah, that's just one of those things where if it's just the person, hate the person. If it's the culture, hate the culture. But that, I do agree with you.
We don't know. Hopefully it's not the culture at Rockstar, but
I wouldn't be surprised either, though.
Could be. It seems like it was pretty crazy over there.
Yeah, but I'm more inclined to believe Schreier, and also because it did come out so late. Like, it's not a pylon article.
Yeah.
That does make it quite a bit more believable to me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, groping is a little odd. It's a little odd. All right.
It's unacceptable.
Especially when you consider the type of person that he was. It just seemed out of character, so that would make it even more weird. There's a thunderstorm going on, and my dog is running around crazy. All right. Super Mario Maker 2 will not let you play online with your friends. You'll only be matched up with randoms.
So let's go from playing with others unwanted to an unwanted thing that means you can't play with others.
Why?
Because Nintendo Online, someone needs to go there and crunch the employees of Nintendo Online, because it's terrible.
Apparently it's because of leaderboards.
Just give it to Microsoft at this point. And people
I honestly,
leaderboards.
I have a feeling that
I don't understand what that means.
Okay, so it's like the way those games work is there's a leaderboard for speedrun times, basically, or like not speedrun times,
high score.
But it's like usually it's kind of like a speedrun time where it's like, okay, you completed this level in this time.
So if you play with your friend, then that would mean that you could essentially get higher scores because you're communicating with them.
You could have a friend feed you a higher score, or like negate a
which I don't understand why they just don't make an option of unranked.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like
or
friend
just
play.
like say, hey, if you're playing with someone's on your friends list, it's not going to count to the leaderboard
towards your ranking. And that's why I'm more inclined to think that it's probably going to take 3 months or 6 months, but at some point they'll add in this update that's like, with this new patch, you'll be able to play with your friends. We've listened to the community.
Yeah. It'll be something like dumb like that, or it'll just be,
because this seems like something that's going to easily be able to be patched in.
Well, I thought the same with fucking Mario Tennis. I thought the same with fucking Splatoon. I thought the same with Smash, and none of it has come.
Well,
Honestly,
those are all netcode based problems.
They just need to pay someone like Microsoft or someone like
No,
that.
I'm saying like
This isn't a netcode thing.
no, even the Splatoon like matchmaking is terrible. You know what I mean? The
Just
way
pay
they've
Microsoft,
done.
let them run on a actual server, and your netcode's going to be a lot better.
I don't think they're ever gonna do it. I think it's always gonna be this janky, just pseudo online world with Nintendo.
No, it is, but a man can dream.
Yeah.
It's the world we live in.
I mean, this is such like a dumb game to do that in too, because you want to play these maps with your friends.
You can play Super Mario Brothers 3 on the Nintendo Online services with your Nintendo Online purchase. You can play that multiplayer with your friends online. You can't play the newest Mario game with your friends.
Yeah.
Unless you're in person.
It is a little funny, but yeah, no, that's just terrible.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
so dumb. It's such
I mean,
a dumb.
it's not a deal breaker for me, and I'm gonna argue that
Me
not for
either,
me
because
either.
I don't really know
Anybody-
anyone who's gonna play this anyway. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I don't.
I know a lot of people are gonna play it mainly because I'm friends with a lot of like content creators who this was a big like, well, the first game was a big game for them on Twitch and YouTube.
Mhm.
You have Nintendo friends. We don't.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
That's-
no, it's like, I'm
that's
not
who
gonna
it comes down
pretty
to.
much. Pretty much.
I need to find more Nintendo friends.
Same.
But I mean, everything I've seen from this game, like I was already sold. This isn't that. It's not a deal breaker for me.
No, it'll still be
It's
fun.
disappointing,
Yeah.
but it's not a deal breaker.
What would be a deal breaker? I'm curious.
Probably paid DLC.
Paid DLC. Okay.
Yeah, like if it was like really dumb paid DLC, like you would have to pay like $14.99 to make Super Mario Brothers 2 levels. Now I'd be like, now you want me to pay a $75 game and online, and I still can't play with my friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be dumb. It would be
But
cool.
like, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for this mainly just because I enjoy playing like user created stuff. It's one of those games that longevity really is determined by the community.
True, and the first one was great, and I think this
It was one of the only good Wii U titles.
Yeah, I think this one will be good too. To be honest, that's just a really dumb, weird way to go around it.
That's been that has been my experience with Nintendo and every single game that I've played. There's always some stupid design choice in the game that just makes no fucking sense.
Like, something I think they thought they could have done at some point was like,
How do we make our A+ game simply A- or a B?
Yeah, exactly.
How do we make our 10 out of 10 game a 9?
Yeah. Exactly. The only one that they haven't fucked up was Breath of the Wild, and they almost did with the fucking weird seasonal DLC.
I know
First party games are great, but
yeah, I know only Wayne's gonna get this joke, but every Camera Kasperi's boardroom meeting is Nintendo.
Yeah. All right. Nintendo version 3.1 of Smash Bros. Ultimate is coming this week. And we're getting some I mean, we're not getting any fixes to the online.
no,
which is
but
a
we are
shame.
getting fighter adjustments, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the first patch that like post Joker nerfs the crap out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to
And
do
that's my main
a little
now.
adjustments. They need little adjustments.
They're gonna increase the damage he needs to get Arson out. I guarantee you that.
No, they'll nerf him.
They're gonna nerf his
They'll increase how fast it drains. Like they'll make sure that it's faster, that he loses it.
they're gonna nerf his what's it called? Like when he goes into the reflect, you know, how it lasts like 2 seconds long.
Oh yeah, they'll
definitely
nerf
gonna nerf
that down
that.
in 1 second.
Well, yep. Welcome to every game ever. That's the way you always got to do DLC. They come out OP, and then the next patch they're nerfed.
I'm okay with it though. They have done a really good job so far, I think. They just should stop doing it. Like, just
We'll see.
put out
I mean,
this and then
you
fix the
never know.
online, and then all of the pros will come back. It's one of the main concerns that all the pros have, is that the online is just ridiculous.
I mean, the pros, you know, I don't know. Like,
There's no
the
way to
pros are
really
still-
play for them online other than like a ranked mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not like they're not playing the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like that's the thing is like you say like, oh, it'll get the pros to come back. Like they left. They
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
like,
no, like, yeah, like, Smash
come back
is
to
one of those
online.
games where like the quote unquote pros kind of never stop playing.
Yeah.
They'll bitch and they'll moan, but they're never going to stop playing.
I know. I'm the same way, though. I bitch and moan, and I can't stop. It's like the only game that I'm constantly playing. All right.
I mean, me and Skittles bitch about Apex Legends, and guess what? We played over the weekend for a little bit. We played for like 6 hours one night.
All right. Who is this guy? Why do these people keep coming in wanting to call in the show? Is it the same guy as last time?
Because they think it's a call-in show, and it's not.
Guy. Yeah,
it's the same guy, and I blocked him on because I'm not answering his calls.
Yeah, we're not. This is not a call-in show.
It's not a call-in show.
It's hilarious, but yeah.
And by the way, quote unquote, this is he wants in because the show sucks.
Oh, that's he was talking about how the show sucks.
Why are you watching?
He started talking about like vitamin C in the chat. I don't know. I gave him a timeout. I should have just banned him. All right, moving on. Pokemon press conference.
It's tonight, actually.
After the show ends, it should be on, right?
After the show ends, yeah. It's going to be a press conference live from Japan at 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't know really. I'm not expecting too much from that. Probably some Pokemon. I mean, they could probably do some Pokemon Go stuff. They might address some of the other smaller indie titles, like the mobile phone games.
Mm-hmm.
The Rumble or Conquest or whatever the newest one is. I don't follow it. But really, the Pokemon Direct that is next week on June 5th at 9 in the morning. That's going to have 15 minutes of Sword and Shield info. So I'm interested in seeing what they show off there, because the Mario Maker Direct was 15 minutes and it showed off a lot.
Yeah, it showed off everything.
You can. In 15 minutes, you can show off almost too much sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want them to spoil anything. Like, I don't want them to, spoil a story or show us all the evolutions of the starter types. Because then it ruins, the game. For me, I know this ruins the game for me, but it's like...
Have they done that before?
Yeah, they have.
Oh, wow.
They've been like, oh, here's the 3 starters, and here are all their evolutionary lines and their typings and their movesets and what levels they evolve at. And it's like, can I just play the game?
Mm-hmm.
Can I just find this out for myself? Whatever happened to, playing the game and finding out things on your own?
Don't do that anymore in the age of YouTube, Twitch.
Not even just through Twitch. The companies themselves will just... It's almost like a movie trailer that shows too much.
Right, because they already know in the first day the game's going to be beaten and everything's going to be shown.
Pretty much. So they just get ahead of it.
PSP remake of Star Ocean being revamped coming to Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. So so on the PSP they made Star Ocean First Evolution and Second Evolution. First Evolution, of course, being the remake of the very first Star Ocean game on the Super Nintendo that never was ported to the West. So this was actually the first time you could legitimately officially play it. There was fan translations. I played that on the original SNES. It's a great game. Star Ocean 2 is one of my all-time favorite PlayStation 1 RPGs.
Okay. So
this is a remake of a remake. It's coming to both PS4 and Switch, but for me, Switch is perfect because it's
best console.
Let's be honest here. The Switch is the better Vita.
Yeah.
That's fair.
PSP, which was the precursor to the Vita.
Well, I hope it's good.
I just hope it's not more than $20 because it really. I mean, if you're an RPG fan and you're looking for a new probably going to be a cheap title RPG, this is a great RPG. It is a fantastic, it's great on the go. That's one of the best things about it is it's one of the best games to play on the go.
It is the most weeb-looking game.
It's anime as fuck.
Yeah, it certainly looks that
way. That's the JRPG for you, baby.
I know. I'm just sitting here trying to hold my tongue the entire time of this is literally just...
Come on, if I'm gushing over it, it's weeb as shit. Let's go.
No, that's fair. But it's going to be a good RPG, then, and that's what I'm interested in. But
get ready to grind.
The image screen is just
the other anime characters.
It's literally you had an anime meme template.
Fun story.
Even with the R at the end, the R is even capitalized. Yep. It just looks weird. It's
the composer of the music though is Motoi Sakuraba, who you would know for doing the Dark Souls soundtrack.
That's pretty rad.
So the music's good.
That's pretty rad.
Moto Sakuraba is, I'm going to be honest, probably like, I think the second best video game composer of all time behind Nobuo Uematsu.
It looks like early 90s anime as well, at least from this image.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely inspired by that like early 90s, mid 90s animation.
Mm-hmm. No, it looks like the game that inspired Final Fantasy.
I mean, Final Fantasy came first, but
I know, but like that just means like that's the mold, that's the genre. It's very much in that.
It's not turn-based. It's action RPG more. Yeah. It's like more. It's a weird mix between action RPG and like
gameplay wise. Yeah, so gameplay wise is completely different. I just mean like imagery wise, it's just like.
It's I would say more like Final Fantasy 7 or 8, where it's like very much sci-fi meets fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
New bloodstained Ritual of the Night details.
Yeah, apparently this also pissed people off because some of the DLC they're offering for sale was originally listed as backer exclusive. And now it's not backer exclusive.
Yeah.
A bunch of people on Kickstarter were mad.
I bet. And I can see why.
I mean,
at the same time, I don't care that much.
Speedrun mode.
Looks kind of cool.
Mode, chaos mode, classic mode, local and online multiplayer for co-op and versus modes, and 2 additional playable characters.
There you go.
That does also all seem like stuff that should have never been a backer only exclusive.
Well, this is all free post-launch content. The paid DLC is the DLC that lets you fight the game's creator. Cool, and that was supposed to be the backer exclusive thing.
But I mean, it is the backer exclusive thing, or it was supposed to be?
The Iga's backpack DLC, the $10, it lets you fight the game's creator, Koji Igarashi, and earn the powerful sword whip weapon by defeating him. They're selling that for $9.99. But originally, that was supposed to be a backer exclusive reward.
Oh, so that people are upset that they were backing it, and then now
if you back it at a higher tier, you got that as your like incentive to like subscribe at that tier, to back it at that tier. And now that they're coming around, going, "Oh yeah, you're still getting that. You don't have to pay the $9.99 for that." But we're also going to sell this to everyone else, and you're not going to have that exclusivity. And a lot of people were like, well, I wouldn't have backed it at that price. I would have backed it for cheaper then. The reason why they backed it was because it was exclusive.
Right. No, that makes sense. I think that's...
But this is the thing with Kickstarter. It sat in development for way too long, and it needs to make as much money as possible.
No, that's why I'm like, I do get why they're mad, and I think they have a right to be mad, but at the same time, sorry.
Sorry. Welcome to business.
Welcome to Kickstarter 101.
It's not even that. It's more just like you're welcome to back in Kickstarter games and Indiegogo. Like
you never get what you ask for.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've only had one project I ever backed that was anything that I imagined it being.
20%.
They always come out 3 years after they're supposed to be, so
pretty much.
And that's for everything. That's not even just games.
25% tariff. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think Linus just reviewed like a monitor that he backed on Kickstarter like 3 years ago, that he finally got and was like, yeah, this is kind of cool, but like since it took
3 years ago,
since it took 3 years to make it, like there's already 18 better products that are cheaper.
Yeah, the same thing happened with the Pebble. I think remember the Pebble watch got released, and then once it released, the Apple Watch was already like on Gen 2.
No, the first Pebble came out before that and was pretty
was it?
Yeah, the first one was cool. They might have done that for a second one or something. First Pebble was really dope though, because it was like the cheap watch people actually wanted. That didn't, like, it was just like, cool, here's notifications. That's all you need.
All right. 25% tariff on game consoles being considered as part of Trump trade disputes. Yeah. I don't see
right around the corner of when the new consoles are supposed to be announced.
I don't see.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think about this like objectively. You know what I mean? In an objective way, because obviously I don't want any tariffs. I don't want any products that I buy to be any more expensive.
Especially when all we buy is really expensive products in the first place.
Exactly.
For all of this.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it would be nice to have more American-made consoles and tech products and stuff like that, but it's just not gonna happen. That's the thing. That's the thing that I don't understand. We're never gonna be the country that develops in that way. We're not. It's just not. That's something that happens over decades and decades and decades. So just tariffing it only seems to hurt the consumer in the long run. You know, it's only going to drive prices up for everything, and that's one way to really piss off a lot of your base, is to make everything that they buy more expensive. I don't know. I don't really see much good out of it.
I don't
No, it's not good. Tariffs in general have been a big problem.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's ways you could approach that where, yeah, like I get what you're saying, and I agree with you that if there's a market to create or protect, yeah, that makes sense. We don't make game consoles.
No
one in America is like willing to do that.
We don't make any real electronics.
Well, it's because some of it you do need a lot of experience doing and education doing, like the actual engineering side. Like, we don't have the people to do that at the moment who are trained to do that. And then actually making them is...
It's like China can do it in a matter of minutes, because there's this factory here, right next to it's another factory that does the chips. Factory behind that does all the little nuts and bolts of those pieces. And they're all right there.
It's that,
and that takes so long to develop.
Right. It's all of that, and then you also have 2 billion people who have various levels of education, and there's like a lot more people who are willing to just do that.
Yeah. And the government basically controls everything that they do. So, I mean, they're just almost like, it's just inevitable that they're going to work those jobs. I mean, it's just like they're geared to produce stuff. And I think instead of tariffing them and punishing them for that, and ultimately it's just punishing the American consumer, I think what you should do is just enable that and work with that and allow companies to do business with that. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make much sense. It's just very confusing. His whole tax plan doesn't make any fiscal sense. All right, next, EA Play at E3 will have a first look at Apex Season 2 content. Yeah, you're looking for a competitive mode, Doobie? I don't think you're gonna get one.
And this game is, I mean, it's pretty much dead.
Do you mean like every battle?
It needs it so badly. And
sorry, I forgot. Fortnite's always number one nowadays.
Yeah, Fortnite's crazy.
I mean,
it's crazy how Fortnite it took a dip for like the month that Apex was around, and then immediately it just has the recognition. Because you got to just keep updating it every week. Crunch your employees and update the game. That's what the Fortnite model is. Otherwise, people are just gonna be like, I mean, the fact that you have to grind so long to get to unlock the chance to unlock a fucking banner is ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like that level of gatekeeping is just too much in that game.
And it's sad because it's like the gameplay itself is actually a lot of fun. It really is fun.
It had a lot of potential. They're squandering it.
And I want to see it succeed. I want to see it do well, but it needs a lot of work.
Now, this is my thought. I think now that they know the success of Apex, they know the potential of it, I think they were like, all right, let's take that Star Wars franchise that people know and love. We know that people are dying for a Battlefront-style Star Wars game. Let's give them a really good one. Let's just focus all of our resources on that. I that could be a real possibility where Apex is almost like the beta of the Star Wars Battle Royale that they're releasing.
That's the thing, though, is like Apex was more Titanfall. So are they gonna add Titanfall elements to the Star Wars?
Oh yeah, yeah. You're gonna get all those fucking
maybe not as crazy
droids and
Because Respawn's not gonna make it.
Yeah. No, droids could be cool though. Like if droids could do super jumps and
Respawn
stuff.
is already working on that the Fallen Order, which is just a single player, no multiplayer Star Wars game.
And I think that's okay. I don't necessarily
Oh,
need.
no, I want it. I can't wait for that. A story-driven Star Wars game is.
No, I want that too. I'm just thinking like, okay, for a single player adventure game, I don't care nearly as much about like Titanfall movement as I do in like a multiplayer game. If that's my
I'm
line.
tempted to go and check out Titanfall 2 because of Apex, because I guarantee you it's probably got a better MMR because it probably actually has competitive.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome, but it's dead. That's the thing. If you want to play online, it's pretty much, there's not many people. Oh, you know what? I was just playing the other day and I forgot to mention it. And I forgot how good it is. Siege. Rainbow Six Siege, man. Dude, you should check that out.
That's a game that a lot of people like compare to Apex just based on how rough its start was.
Yeah.
And then it turned it around as it got more content, as it started to support the game more. Maybe Apex has a Siege in them. Maybe they can turn it around.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not looking good. Siege, I have friends that like love that game, but I never got into it.
Yeah. It's great. It's a great fucking tactical shooter, man. It's super fun. And if you like all the powers and stuff, there's so many of them and so many operators in Siege. It's like, that's what you need to do with Apex. They should have 50 fucking legends by now.
It's a good game. It's just you gotta really like cheese. You really gotta like cheese in that game.
That's the whole game.
That's the whole that like everything.
You also found out that a lot of people don't like playing with others. They want solo. They just want to be solo.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like playing with random.
Yeah. No, I think that would actually be probably the biggest thing to get people playing it more is not the weird 3-person mode.
I like the team-based combat only because, like, normally, I mean, granted, it's a better shooter than some of the other games are. But like anytime I've ever played a solo BR game, I get so bored and I quit. It's not fun.
I mean, I would love an Apex solo mode, just because there's a lot of times where I don't, because Apex is so like, when you have a team, it's just so demanding. You have to constantly, like, you can't like, watch a movie and play it. You know what I mean? You just have to be so locked into it. It's the same thing with PUBG, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of moved away from PUBG. It's just so demanding. So I think a solo mode could help in those situations where you just kind of want to just, get a couple kills in. All right, Jerry was correct. PS4 will be supported for 3 years after the PS5's release. Their investors relations meeting, Jim Ryan, CEO, detailed the role that PS4 will play after the release of the PS5. PS4 will be a key part of Sony's gaming strategy for 3 years following the debut of the next console. So you got about 3 years of the PS4.
That makes sense from a computer-based idea. That's about how long you should expect to have after new stuff.
Yeah.
Or like your next big leap. But that's what I expected just because I don't know why everyone else didn't expect that. Like that was one of the... When the PS3 and the Xbox One first got launched, that was talked about a lot of them trying to build it up to be more like a computer system and saying, no, we're going to like have... They were talking about how they were planning like the way the Pro came out and the Scorpio or Xbox One X came out, where they were planning like, okay, we want to start launching consoles like every 2 years and just have the games work on all of that. Like that was a big thing when those first launched. So this makes sense to me.
That would be awesome if they continued down that route. I'm curious, how long will the PS4 have been around? If the PS5 gets released by 2020, then there's 3 years after that. 2023 would be the end of the PS4. How many years is that? When did the PS4 get released?
10, I think. Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
It's 2013. It's about 10 years.
Yeah, so 10 years.
That's pretty good for a console lifespan, I think.
Yeah, that's
great. I would say that's actually kind of long.
That's above average. Yeah, but it's also that's a good computer lifespan if you built a good computer.
Yeah.
But that makes sense to me. I don't know. I like it. I like the idea. I'm happy they're doing it.
Yeah. 2023, if you still got a base PS4, you're going to be wishing that you had a new one.
Probably, but I do wish they would have kept to that original like 2013 plan of like, okay, so we would have been on the PlayStation 5.5 by now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Agreed.
it is what it is.
Yeah, that's one of the things about Apple that I've been enjoying is these new incremental updates every fucking 6 months.
They started doing it. It's nice.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Just keep getting new shit out. You know, it might hurt a little. It might sting a little bit. You buy that product, and then a little bit later, a way better one comes out. But it's worth it in the end.
That's what everyone else deals with in every other computer market.
Yeah, it's worth it in the end.
Dude, tech and computers just move too fast. We'll get to that later. But yeah.
All right, I do want to ask you guys a question, a deep discussion, because I was playing Sekiro and I was like, damn, this game is fucking long. And it's long almost because of the difficulty curve and trying to get through it. But then you add in the fact that it's also just a long game. Same with Red Dead. Red Dead's just a fucking long game. Rage, another one, a long game. Rage 2, rather. And I just wanted to know what you guys think. Do you guys think video games are just too long?
No. But depending on the story they're trying to tell. Like it's
that's the thing. I think the stories are too long. I think that they drag them out too long. I think that they could easily cut out a lot of fat in a lot of games.
I'm a fan of RPGs that are 100 and plus hours long.
Yeah, that's way too long, dude.
Yeah, same.
Bang for your buck at $60.
I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, I got to play World of Warcraft for another 3 years.
Maybe I'm in the minority in that then.
Well, no, I think I think you're right for some games. I do think some games are dragged out too long.
I would say most games. In my opinion, I would say almost all games are just a little bit too dragged out.
For me, I definitely wouldn't say most, but some of them I think are, and I think it really depends on how good the storytelling in the game is and what the story and point the game's trying to convey is.
I got a question for you guys then. Do you guys think a lot of games are too short? Like blockbuster titles, AAA titles, do you guys think they're too short?
I think they can be because they rely a lot on DLC to expand the base game.
Just the base game, not even counting DLC.
Then like the South Park games I think of, they were like a good maybe 16 hours, like 14 to 16 hours.
You think that's too short?
$60 for a 16-hour experience? I mean, it is subjective. It depends on do you believe was that experience worth that much? But in a game I could probably NoLife in one day, I just paid $60 for. That's short to me. That's short.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do get that from the value.
And I think it also depends on replayability.
Yeah.
Not even speaking on replayability, just the first playthrough.
Very replayability. It's not very high replayability.
First playthrough, no, I think again, I think it depends on the story. Like South Park, I agree. I wanted more out of South Park, but that was because it was a good story. It was a good game. I wanted more from that. But
I thought South Park was perfect.
Other games where it's like, if it's dragging on and I just don't care, but the action and combat's fun, then that's probably too long.
Yeah, like for me, like a lot of the JRPGs, a lot of RPGs in general, I wouldn't even say a lot of even Witcher 3. There's just almost, because I am the kind of gamer that I like different games. Like I like to constantly play new, different things. And if I have to commit at least 20 hours before I start to get the ball rolling on a game, that's just too long.
That's too long.
Yeah.
And a tutorial shouldn't, or an intro or a prologue shouldn't take 20 hours.
Well, all right, I shouldn't say that. Maybe not to get the ball rolling, but I don't want to have to play 20 hours and then know there's another 30 hours left to finish the game. Because at that point, I'm almost ready to move on.
I think it depends on the story and then if the gameplay is good.
Yeah.
If the gameplay has you going, I don't want to keep playing this, but I want to keep playing the story, then there's a problem there.
And to me, there's only a few games where I think, Witcher 3 is a good example. Persona is a good example. Witcher 3.
I love, but I can see where people go, this is a grind fest. I don't want to do this, but I like the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought Witcher 3 dragged a little bit too much in some parts. I'll be honest.
Towards like the I would say the
Especially towards
middle
the
of the middle of the game, and then towards like 2/3 near the end, they start to pull it through a little bit longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, no, 2/3 into
that. You're just like, I have to go on another fucking thing conquest, and it's like you're about to wrap it up. You know what I mean? And I feel like that with a lot of games. I felt like that. Like Sekiro is another one.
Felt good though. Like I think Horizon was paced really well.
Me too. I thought Horizon's pacing was perfect. It was just the right amount of time to keep me playing. The story was great. The gameplay was great. And as soon as I felt like, all right, it's time to wrap this thing up, that's when it ended. And it ended on a high note. And I thought that was perfect. And I think even Breath of the Wild did it really well. Like the pacing of Breath of the Wild was so good, and that's a long game.
That was a game that you really could. It could be as long or as short as you wanted it to be.
Yeah,
you didn't have to go and do everything. The speedrun of that game is like 15 minutes long.
Yeah,
you can go right and beat the boss if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about it the other day, and I was like, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a pretty subjective thing to an extent too, but I think Doobie hit a good he said another good magic word for that kind of discussion: pacing. I think the pacing also matters a lot into how if it feels like it's going on too long or too short.
Yeah,
entirely.
And like a game like Smash, I put in like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of hours,
like City Skylines.
Like yeah, like where games are just like there is no end. Like I'm not even talking about those games.
Games as a service.
Yeah, I'm more talking. I mean, even Apex is any PUBG or battle royale game. I'm thinking more along the lines of just like a story-driven game, because I kind of want them to wrap up at a certain level of time. Because that's when I just think it starts to get stale. You know what I mean? And once it gets stale, I want to be able to finish that story. I don't know. It's just something to think about. All right, we got some fucking Computex stuff to talk about. So much interesting tech.
Well, and related to Computex, before Doobie runs away, I did want to bring up, because of this Computex, how excited are you guys for E3? Because that's like soon. That's like what, next week or 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
That's a good question.
Yes, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Be 2 weeks.
June 11th starts.
Yeah, so 2 weeks from today.
Yes,
I think so.
2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks exactly.
Since they're doing a Pokemon Direct for Nintendo, that frees up a lot of time. They're not going to waste time on Mario Maker. I'm excited for Nintendo. I'm excited for Square Enix. For more than just Final Fantasy VII. But other than that, like I'm not super excited for Microsoft. I'm more intrigued for Microsoft. I want to know what they're working on. I want to know what the first party titles that they're working on.
Doobie's not a hardware guy. He doesn't care about the hardware. As long as the game has anime boobies and 100 hours of grinding, he's a happy man.
Hey, no, I'm like, hey. What about it? I mean, Half-Life doesn't have anime. Halo doesn't have anime.
Right. I don't mean to peg you in a box. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
Nobody puts Doobie in a box.
No, I was just genuinely curious too, because Sony's not going to be there. Like, this is like, from a game side, this is seeming to look like a pretty meh E3.
Yeah.
I mean,
until Computex happened for me, and now I'm like, it
really is. Are you? And then, not to mention, Epic Store is sponsoring the PC gaming show.
Oh, interesting.
So,
oh
yeah.
I mean, the PC gaming show is always trash anyway, but
But Devolver Digital will be there again.
I'm not mad at the Epic Gaming Store, dude. If Valve needs some competition, baby.
But like, the games on it mostly are trash.
I was playing a game from it that wasn't too trash, but it wasn't too good either.
There's a couple that are like fine, and then the rest are yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty excited for it. And the reason why is because AMD came out swinging at Computex in China, and they basically showed their plan, their blueprint for the future, and they are essentially aiming at every segment of the market and trying to overtake Intel in each of these sectors with their new Zen 2 architecture, 7-nanometer architecture. They're even going after commercial, data entry enterprise. They're going after mobile chips. They're going after everything. And it looks pretty impressive.
Think they're got a really good shot of doing it, actually.
Yeah.
And that mostly comes down to, because another big thing that they announced at Computex was from launch, they're having 56 motherboards.
Yeah.
And basically, okay, so every motherboard manufacturer on the planet and other third party is really getting behind it. They don't get behind it unless it's really going to make them money.
Yeah.
It's got to be good for them to actually do that.
Yeah, they basically expect AMD to start to really pick up in sales in all aspects. So they're going to gear up all of their motherboards for it. And they're probably seeing stuff that we haven't seen. They're probably seeing benchmarks that we haven't seen. They probably have a bunch of cool stuff lined up.
There's a 16 core that's been literally confirmed from every motherboard manufacturer. It just hasn't been announced.
Yeah. So far, the highest one we have is the 3900X, which is the 12 core.
Yeah.
24 thread.
That's the other thing, is there's still, and why I'm excited for E3 is basically Computex was mostly talking about the roadmap and showing some things off, mostly like the motherboards, and just kind of a tease followed by it's all going to actually be released at E3, other than like our 3 higher end chips that we're launching now or showing now.
And then I was also thinking that Mac is supposed to be releasing the 16-inch Pro.
I would have loved a Mac
MacBook.
Ryzen machine. It's not going to happen. Trust me.
You don't think so?
I want one so bad. I don't, because they seem committed to Intel than ARM. I don't see them.
They were pretty pissed at Intel lately.
They are, and that's why they want to go with their ARM stuff, which makes sense. They now have the power to do ARM. I wish they would have gotten pissed at Intel 2 years ago when their ARM stuff wasn't good enough, and they could have done that for a couple of years. But right now, I think they're just going to go to ARM, because I would love a Ryzen Mac. I would love Ryzen Hackintoshes to become so much easier. I would love that. Nothing more. I would literally want nothing more than that.
I'm curious, because they've always, ever since they've kind of moved into like the RX or not RX, the Radeon chips and the Vega
really
chips
for graphics. Yeah.
And
they also hate NVIDIA.
And then their attitude towards Intel and NVIDIA has been waning, and there's a supposed 16-inch coming out with this new prosumer or pro-centered micro LED display, where you're going to need a lot of horsepower to run this thing. It's going to be pretty interesting, especially this new modular Mac Pro plus this new Marzipan talk that they're doing. I mean, it could be interesting if we could have an all red Mac coming up pretty soon. So what's the most exciting thing from the AMD keynote from you that you think? Was it the Ryzen 3000 3900X?
It's a bit of both. It's a combo.
Or do you like the Vega and Avi graphic stuff?
Excuse me. Navi I'm interested in. That's going to be really shown at E3, and that's what I'm most interested in, because it's not going to be a 1080 Ti competitor at any level, but AMD does the middle ground really good usually when they come out with it, and that's more what I buy, so I'm very interested in that. The 12 core is a beast. The 12 core seems amazing, to be honest. The 16 core would, who knows, you know. But the 12
I think even if the 16 core were to be announced, I think I would still even go 12 core.
I mean, for $500, and their testing, which is going to be very heavily biased, and them using tests that favor them, it beat a i9-9920X, which is like $1,200.
Yeah,
and that's Intel's 12 core on the i9 high end.
They're saying you beat it by 10%.
Yeah. No, they showed it. Yeah.
For $500.
Kind of insane.
Yeah, $500 and get you 12 cores, 24 threads. It's pulling 105 watts, and its base is 3.8, boosting up to 4.6. You could probably get it to 5.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
No, because the way AMD does a lot of their stuff it's why they get pegged as bad overclockers, is because they kind of are bad overclockers, in the sense that AMD
Already overclocks it.
Yeah, they push it a lot farther than like Intel does in the first place. So they do try to push up their chip to get more performance out
I'm
of
curious because 105 watts is pretty low.
Now that same thing that is, because that's what I'm also interested in. The 8 cores, they had an 8 core beating a 977 i7 9700 is what we're up to now. Yeah, the 8 core was beating that at 65 watts.
Yeah. They have a 65 watt and a 105 watt variant, and the 65 watt is beating the 9700K, which is what I have now,
and
at 20.
105 watt is beating the 99.
Yeah, which is pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. And then your next jump for Intel is, like you said, like a $1,200 chip.
Yeah, and you could probably overclock the 65 watt part way better than the 105 watt part, because they're probably really similar, to be honest. That's usually how they do them. So that's why most people actually buy the lower end one, just because they can overclock it to be as good as the more expensive one usually.
Yeah.
You just have to know what you're doing to do that, and it's not hard. But
also, PCIe 4.0.
That's the other big thing I am excited for. It has nothing to do with graphics. We're not going to be touching PCI 4 for graphics anytime soon, not even close. And I think AMD actually did a really bad job at that part of the presentation, to be honest, even though it was really impressive and cool.
I'm thinking
it was
like
bad.
Using PCI 4 4K in and out in terms of like a capture card, because we haven't had 4K in and out with pass through, because there's just not enough. It's just not enough.
If it's a bandwidth issue, yeah, that could probably do it. But what I'm most interested in is, like SSDs.
Yeah, it's gonna be insane.
No, there's already, I think it was Corsair is already launching one that's over 4,000 read, like almost it's 5,000 read write. But they also, I think it was Gigabyte or someone else was releasing a new PCIe Express RAID card that's going to go into the
this is the one from Corsair on the screen.
Yeah, but it's a PCIe RAID card, and it's going to go in the like Threadripper, because the way it's going to it's going to take PCIe 4 has the way it's cut out. It's 20 lanes total, 16 going to GPU, 4 going direct from CPU to like SSDs and stuff, which is going to make them faster. But on Threadripper, where you're not going to go buy probably a high-end graphics card, more likely, they're making RAID slot cards. They'll use all 16 of those lanes instead of the graphics card. And then you can put your graphics card on like an 8 or something, because you're not going to care as much. They're talking like you can just make RAID stacks of SSDs doing 15,000 read write.
Yeah, that's awesome.
15,000.
That's awesome.
Like megabytes. So like 15 gigs. Like that. Yeah.
That's
we
insane.
thought SSDs were fast. Nah, dude, we're just scraping the surface now.
I mean, this NVMe SSD from Corsair has a heatsink on it.
Yeah,
it's built in with a heatsink.
No, the RAID controller literally has a gigantic copper heat pipe on it. Like, we're gonna start hitting SSD speeds,
and they're saying it's gonna be released in July. So we're gonna be getting this really soon. I can't wait to see
when all of this is gonna be released, because I think everything's gonna be released in July. Yeah. Ryzen's coming out on 7.7. I'm assuming, honestly, the Radeon stuff's going to not be too far after that, because there were a couple of guys on stage from Acer and Asus, I think, also talking about just already having like full built desktops getting ready to be sold and stuff like that. Of both. And they're also, what was interesting to me is like their data server stuff's been awesome, and it's getting a lot better. Like AMD servers are suddenly becoming really, really good, and they have been for about a year or two. Laptops, though, they've been shit. Well, they haven't been shit, but they
haven't really existed.
Right. No one's been interested enough to really give them a go to what they should be. So I'm really interested to see how that goes, and if people really do start buying into this for laptops, because I mean, if you can get an 8-core with that much power, like be just crushing a desktop chip at 65 watts, if you can get that down to like, do half of that, you could be talking like a serious good laptop chip for 30 watts or whatever. And that would be really cool to me. I'm pretty interested. So I want to keep following that.
Can you talk a little bit more? Give me 1 second. I got to run out real quick.
Yeah. So there is all that, and I'm curious to see how all that's going to go with the laptop stuff. Desktop wise, it seems like a really big performance boost, and I want to see a lot more. And I'm kind of getting a little hyped now. And even though my computer is only 2 years old, I just want to upgrade because, yeah, that 12 core seems really, really cool. You can get a 12 core, 24 thread beast for $500. Now, if I will say and point out for people who are gaming, do not buy the 12 core. 12 core is not made for gaming, even though it's not that bad, surprisingly.
There's like a fire alarm going off somewhere.
It's not bad. Yeah, I can hear it. No, what I was saying is I'm really hyped. I kind of want to buy a new one, but also the 12 core, don't buy it for gaming. The 8 core is going to be better for gaming.
Yeah.
Because they also
unless you do both productivity and gaming. I mean, the 12 core is not going to be bad.
No, I was going to say the 12 core, from their charts that they did show, the 12 core is not bad, and it's actually a lot better than I expected, but it is still going to be a minor IPC net loss, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot better than I was expecting.
What do you think about the RX graphics cards, their new RDNA architecture?
I'm really interested. Like, I don't know. They just mentioned the name basically and showed like a really shitty PCIe 4 bandwidth benchmark. Like, I don't know anything about the cards yet, basically.
I think one thing's interesting is that it is a new architecture.
Well, yeah, it's going to be the Navi. That's what they've been planning on for a long time, actually. They just haven't ever been able to make it in number yet, I guess.
Yeah.
But I am very interested because the one they were talking about was supposed to be 10% faster than a 2070.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on price, that could be really interesting. That could be really cool. And I think they're going to also release some cheaper ones. But I don't think they're going to come out and try to be a 1080 Ti killer or 2080 Ti, whatever we're up to now. Lower. But lower, I'm definitely interested to see like that 26 RTX 2060 range. I think that could get really interesting with them.
Yeah, that's usually where they dominate anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, like, imagine since they don't have ray tracing cores properly, like, you could have a 2070 level performance for the price of a 20 what a 2060 would be instead of the 1660, whatever the naming scheme is.
I think it just stopped.
Or have it be priced like that.
Didn't they talk about ray tracing, if I'm not mistaken?
I can't remember.
I think that maybe she had an interview where she talked about it. Let me see if I can find it. I want to know what she said about it.
They always wanted to do ray tracing, but they were just talking they're not going to do it until
here it is.
It can be on every card.
So she sat down with PC World. Reporter says, with ray tracing apparently being a big part of future consoles, is it going to be a part of the RDNA? And then she says, so we have a lot more RDNA content that David and Scott will be presenting. I think some of you may be coming to our tech day in a few weeks at E3. We're going to talk about all of that. So, and then it says, it seems like if ray tracing was a thing you were definitely working on, we'd have heard of it on the stage today. And then Sue says, we're definitely working on ray tracing. That's true. But like I said, we'll give you more of the roadmap at E3. So it looks like it's in their crosshairs. Who knows if we'll see it in PCs? Maybe we'll see it in consoles before we see it in PCs, which would be interesting.
Probably. Well, no, if you're going to see it in one, you're going to see it in both. Just because that is the way currently AMD's doing their graphics architecture, is they're designing it for console first and then porting it, basically, like making it for the PC. Because they mostly do all of the SO system on a chip type stuff.
Yeah.
And things like that for all the consoles. Now
with Intel, they didn't announce too much. They announced their 8-core i9-9900KS, which is almost like their dedicated
fucking names, dude.
their dedicated like gaming chip. All the cores should hit 5 gigahertz, is what they're saying, all the time.
It's an i99 that's overclocked,
Yeah.
which is good. It's a really good chip, especially for gaming. No, that is kind of cool. Thing that might kill it is we'll have to see what the price is.
Yeah, their 9900K is $500. I expect this to be like $650.
And if this is $650, and if that 8 core that we were talking about earlier for $400 comes close to it, are you going to spend the $650 for it?
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
It's gonna be interesting. AMD's gearing it up.
they all speaking Intel too. They also released more of their Ice Lake stuff, and it's it's kind of shit. Like there's no way to beat around the bush.
Yeah.
They were trying to say it's 18% faster, but when they were saying that, they mean it's 18% faster than Broadwell. From the last gen, it looks like it's about 3, maybe 4% faster.
Really?
Yeah. It's not gonna be that much faster than your current whiskey coffee lake type stuff.
Oh yeah, you're right. Single threaded performance also shot up in the new Sunny Cove cores, but now we're comparing it against the Broadwell chip. Yeah, it's about 0.05 times faster than Whiskey Lake.
No, I mean like that second chart underneath or the second chart there, the bar graph or whatever, like that no, go up. You were already at them. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like that's what I was looking at mostly too, where it's like, okay, you look at 9th gen versus 10th gen, and it's like, oh, that's that's maybe 2%.
Yeah.
Like
Intel's struggling. They can't seem to figure it out.
That's supposed to be their big jump too, that's what don't get and I'm surprised about, because that's supposed to be their jump from 14 to 10, which in the rest of the world's terms is 7. What Intel calls 10, AMD, Apple, everyone else calls 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the size though. So that is supposed to be their big jump, like that AMD's been doing and ARM and Apple have been doing. And that doesn't... You'd hope for more. You'd definitely hope for more performance out of that kind of jump.
No, it's definitely lacking. They're having a hard time. And then they started talking about their Project Athena, which is like this sort of, how do you say it? This is like their restricting QC on laptops that meet certain standards, which is pretty interesting. So Project Athena 2019 target specs, which is it should be able to have basically any modern connection, so any sort of always-on connection, performance and responsiveness, at least i5, i7, consistent responsiveness on battery, 8 gigabytes DRAM, dual channel, at least 256 gig SSD, Optane option, worry-free battery life, so at least 9 hours on wireless web browsing, always on, Thunderbolt 3, Wi-Fi 6 gig, and it's just kind of like their specs on what laptops and OEMs will be that reach all of these little criteria that they have, which I do like. I do think that's a good idea.
You did also just say the other thing though. That is going to be the downfall of your Ryzen Mac.
What?
Who owns Thunderbolt?
Oh, true. Well, I'm sure they can fucking figure it out.
Yep.
I'll sacrifice Thunderbolt for a fucking dope Ryzen Mac.
That is the hard part about... That's like you're going to be your biggest... Like, this is why I want Intel to do good. They're just not at the moment. And it's because Thunderbolt's really cool.
Yeah.
I'd love both. And that's why But Thunderbolt's also becoming mainstream in 2021. Yeah. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully.
All right. And then NVIDIA kind of talked about their studio laptops, RTX studio laptops, and they showed off a bunch of laptops that basically, a lot of them have like Quadro cards in them, and they're all meant for content creators. So one of them is a ZenBook, Studio Book, the Alienware M15 has a creator's edition, and they all meet these. It's just interesting. It's like they're all trying to do like this certain sort of spec, and that they all have to reach this criteria in order to be claimed as this spec. And I like that because then that kind of gives you, like, kind of like with the Max Q, like, you know, a Max Q laptop is going to have RTX, the latest RTX cards in them. So I kind of like this idea that they're doing like this whole studio edition, because that's essentially something that I would be very interested in, into seeing a bunch of laptops that, you know, for a fact that they're going to be able to have certain specs on them, whether it's, you know, color gamut or if it's certain rendering speeds. And that's pretty cool. And that's about all that they really talked about. Nothing else.
And I agree. I think that's actually a cool way to do it. It's all marketing bullshit, but this is at least cool marketing bullshit.
Yeah. It's clear, you know, it's clear in what they're trying to give you. It's nothing convoluted.
For both of those, yeah.
Apple released the iPod Touch with the iPhone 7's processor, which is the A10. You gonna get one?
Cool. No, but cool, I guess.
This is cool if you have a kid and you don't want to give him an iPhone. My little cousins have iPods.
Yeah. Don't want to give them an iPod. That actually is a good thought too, because I don't think I would want my kids having a phone until they're like 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, I think the iPod continuing is a good thing. It's just, for me, it's like, I don't care.
What they should do, though, is go the way that Sony went with their Walkman and make it like a dedicated audiophile-centered device that has like all of the updated codecs on it, like an awesome DAC on it. You know what I mean? Like really make it for audiophiles. So, you know, if you were someone who has like this massive library of music, you could just put it on your iPod and you can hook it up to your sound system. You know, you're not losing any quality.
Yeah.
Those Walkmans are pretty expensive. I was looking at one of them and they're almost like, I mean, it's just like a stupid little touch screen. It's like a dumb phone that just has really good audio components on it. I wouldn't mind if Apple did something like that.
It's just like so weird, but I don't hate it.
No, not for me though. Do you want a wood laptop from HP?
You had me until you said HP, but actually no, honestly.
I'm not mad at it.
No, I actually really like
that. The bamboo looks kind of nice.
No, it actually looks really cool. No, I'm really happy with HP at the moment. I'm not a big fan of their keyboards, so that's why I ended up not buying one. But they're good. They're good laptops for Windows machines.
See, I don't mind the keyboards, but it's the touchpads that are fucking trash. And this looks like it solves it by just putting a wood touchpad.
Yeah, it's just wood. No, I gotta give tons of props to HP though. They're doing what I always claim that I want more of. Dude, they're being Sony right now.
Yeah.
They're releasing a wood laptop, a leather folio laptop. Like,
yeah. It's awesome.
Yes, keep making more of these weird fucking art piece laptops.
Yeah. Because there's going to be one where I'm actually going to consider buying it. You know, there's going to be that one. Now, I would be a little bit more pumped if this was all wood. I would love an all wood one. I want wooden fucking keys. Maybe even figure out a wooden screen. But for now, we're getting there.
Wooden screen.
We're getting there.
Wooden screen holder? Is that what you mean?
No, I want it all e-ink.
All wood screen.
All wood screen with e-ink. All right.
I do want to see more of that.
Or do you want this new 240 hertz portable gaming monitor from Asus? And not only that, but they also had a creator-centered one that was like 100% DCI-P3, 100% or HDR10. I mean, it's awesome.
I really want that one, except it's probably going to cost like $4K.
I think it's like $1,000.
I would consider that then.
Yeah.
Because I really like these things.
I can find it.
This goes back to the Kickstarter thing I was talking about earlier. What Linus was buying was like a little portable monitor like this, and it's like these are getting really, really good. I'm definitely interested in these because I love the idea of these. Are just like, especially they're getting smaller. Because to me, I really want one of these to just leave with my laptop. That's what I love these for. is just cool. I can take my laptop and then I can just have 2 screens wherever I go because I'm that person.
No, I want one too, man. Okay, this is it here, I think.
And I'm totally willing to admit I'm that person, but I want to walk into a coffee shop and have 3 screens to do my work.
And I want you to take pictures or live stream.
Especially from
So this
Can
one
I go to the coffee shop, play some League of Legends on my live stream, dudes?
This one it's called the ProArt PQ22UC Professional OLED Monitor. It's 21.6 inches, 4K OLED, HDR10 spec, 99% DCI P3. It's got Thunderbolt 3. It's got a portable stand, so it actually has like a nice stand that you can actually like swivel it all around the place. What else? What else? The specs on this bad boy. 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio. Obviously, it's OLED. Dolby Vision. Let's see what the brightness is. That's a big thing. Let's see. No. Let's see. Here we go. Specs. Give me the nits. Give me the nits. Give me the nits. Brightness is around 330, so it's a pretty average. I would like to see it a little higher than that, but 330 is not too bad. It's a typical 330, yeah. Non-glare.
I want it higher, yeah.
Yeah, I would like it a little bit higher too. It does have HDR. It's less than a 2 delta color accuracy, so that's pretty good.
Color accuracy is cool. That I'm interested. That's not HDR. I'm sorry, 330 nits is not HDR.
No.
Don't even try.
No.
Just stop.
No, it's a little low. And that's pretty much it in terms of that. Picture-in-picture, HDCP support. But you're getting an external portable monitor with 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports on the side, a mini HDMI port on the side. You can take it anywhere. You can fold it up, put it in your bag in the coffee shop. I mean, even just like a tiny, just like side monitor for your desk, hanging off the side of your monitor.
Yeah.
I would love that. And then there's the 240 hertz one, which is the gaming one, which is cool too. And they're showing people using like a Switch and using their phone. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to be that guy, but.
No, but I would definitely use it to actually play games on off of my, the big thing too is like for travel, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, if you're going somewhere for a week and you want to go to the hotel and have like a nice screen and play your games on. Yeah. Hell yeah. How about the Asus ZenBook Pro Duo that has 2 screens on it? You're not a fan?
No.
I'm a huge fan.
No,
I'm a huge fan of this thing. Am I going to buy one? Probably not. And I'll tell you why. All right, so the touch bar sucks because it's so limited in its use, but it's also, you have to look at it when you use it. With this, what I find interesting is that it's kind of like a secondary monitor, but for apps that you kind of don't need to always look at. So maybe you have your iTunes down there, maybe you have your Evernote down there, maybe your Discord chat, and that's pretty much it. And that's what gives it a lot of utility, and I really do like the idea of that.
If you can use it as an actual screen, I'm more interested.
Yeah, but it is. It's an actual screen.
I still think it's a little bit more gimmick than actually usable. Because the issue too is they're sacrificing the touchpad for it. Yeah. That is the touchpad now, and you're just using touchscreen, and that's where I'm just like,
No, you still have a touchpad. You still have a touchpad. It's over on the right. You see?
Okay. Their first video wasn't showing it as a touchpad.
Yeah. You have like that Razer Pro touchpad thing going on.
If it's no, it's because it's a weird one. That's why it is a touchpad, but it's got another screen in it for like being a numpad.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be a good touchpad, and I think that's gonna kill some of my love for it. But as the screen, I think having as an actual screen is a better idea because I can see what you're saying with like Discord, things like that.
Yeah.
leave open, sure, that's more interesting.
Just toss them on the bottom and not taking up any real estate. Or if you're doing like writing, you can put your Evernote down there and then have your full research on the front. I mean, it's pretty cool.
I could be okay. This implementation is a lot better than the last one with like the weird little fake phone and the touchpad. Because that was terrible. That was just like the touch. All of those things are just gimmicks to me. This is a little bit more useful to a gimmick because I'm also sitting here saying, yes, I want to have a laptop with two extra travel monitors.
Yeah, and this could be a good compromise for that without really compromising any extra weight or any extra gear on you. This might be an option, but I think it is pretty cool. I kind of want to see where they can take. I don't know if I'm going to buy it just because I'm never going to buy an Asus laptop again. The last one that I bought was just so janky, and I'm afraid that these laptops are all just kind of like you said, kind of like gimmicky, almost beta prototype models. Maybe I'll buy the 3rd gen of this if they continue down this route. They were the first ones to put the fucking screen in the touchpad, and
that's terrible in my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't do it again. This is a little bit better, at least. I could find myself eventually liking this idea.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more usability and utility out of it. I could be really interested in it.
Right now, I'm not paying for this.
No,
but that is better. That's definitely better. More screens, the merrier. Give me more screens.
And ASRock is showing off a Thunderbolt GPU.
I added this because this is really cool to me.
Mini ITX graphics card. Interesting.
So this is basically a little Radeon 570, and they haven't fully released it yet, but I really like the idea of it. It's basically like it's a 4-inch square. It's like the size of an Intel NUC, and that's like the card, and it connects to, like, say the NUC over Thunderbolt, and then sends the signal out from the card
or MacBook.
So it's like all of those graphics card enclosures, but they're figuring out a way to put it into a much smaller package.
That's rad.
So you could have it be like a DVD, like an old DVD drive, read-write drive or something like that, and that's now your graphics card that you add to a desktop or a NUC or like a MacBook or a laptop. That's really cool to me. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
I'm actually really interested in this because also if you were doing something like a NUC, you could honestly just stack them and just have it. You could still have, then you'd have a NUC with the power of a real graphics card, but it's not going to be any bigger really.
Right.
Like just there's so many uses for that where this is really interesting to me, and I want this. I kind of want to buy one.
Imagine if they could fit a fucking 2080 Ti in that.
I doubt that, but like the concept of
just
this,
imagine
that would be sick. If we that's kind of why I want to buy one, is I want them to keep doing this because if we could get it to that point, that'd be awesome. The actual concept and idea of this is awesome to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want this to take
cool.
off and not die. Because like laptops, there's all of your laptops, like small form factor computers, like anything like this is just insane to me. Especially if you could get it to be that small, and especially if you can get it to be powered over the Thunderbolt 3. Because I'm not sure how it's going to be powered. It doesn't seem like it'll be powered like that. But if you could even have it powered over the Thunderbolt 3 too, it's a mobile graphics card.
I mean, I don't see any sort of power input. That's the thing.
Yeah, but this is also very basic. You know what I mean? So like if we could get it
unless that's it there and they're just not pointing to it. You see right next to on the left of the Thunderbolt 3 hole, there's like that big square there that could be like a 9-volt jack or something, which what it kind of looks like. But if it could be powered by Thunderbolt 3, that'd be insane.
And I doubt it will be, and I doubt that's like gonna be a thing for Gen 1. But like imagine that in like a Gen 2 or Gen 3s, it's also powered off a Thunderbolt port or something like that.
It says power delivery. It doesn't specifically say. They mention power delivery, but it doesn't specifically say if it powers the card. So now I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, no, I want, like, they just kind of teased it, and I want to dig in so much more to this because this is really cool to me because I mean the 570 it's a 1080 graphics card. It's nothing groundbreaking or gonna blow you away, but it's still a pretty decent card for 1080.
I mean, if you got an Ultrabook, you only have the Intel UHD in there, this would be a lot better.
No, this would be insane. Like, because what I'm trying to say is like, no, this card's not gonna be blow you away or anything like that, especially like a Nook or something like that. But this card can play any game at 1080.
Yeah,
like hands down, no questions. And that's awesome. If you could get that on mobile, that's sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to see more of this.
All right, I got 2 more things to talk about. One, there's an office near me that is not near me. They're in my office building. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is what you do. You buy one of those that 240 hertz monitor you're just looking at. You can get one of these as a board and just create an enclosure, put it on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. There's your travel system. Just plug your laptop into it.
Yeah.
Like, that would be amazing to me.
That's pretty rad.
I want this so badly.
All right, so there's this office next to me next to my office that is doing like VR stuff. I don't know exactly what they're doing. I think they're creating some sort of architecture VR program, which will probably make them a lot of money because that would be awesome. Imagine like building like your CAD up and then go into what you're looking at in VR and really look at it to scale. I think that's what they're doing. But they have the Valve Index, which is the new Valve VR head system.
Valve VR thing, yeah.
And it's fucking awesome, dude. I got to try it out and hang out with them for a little bit. And it's awesome. So essentially, the best part about it, in my opinion, is that the refresh rate's a lot higher. So it's at 120 hertz to 144 hertz, which they're saying is a beta. But it doesn't really tell you that it's a beta. It's just an option that you can choose. And trying it is like, it's definitely a big difference between that and 90 hertz, like you would see on the screen. There's definitely just a big, clear difference there. But also, the screen has more field of view because somehow they figured out a way for it to get right up to your eyes. And the screen just covers more real estate of your eyes. So you're not actually increasing the field of view, but you're increasing the surface area that you see, which then increases the field of view. And I think they also, the screens are kind of like tilted in a certain way to kind of just give that extra little field of view for it. And this is like, and also the audio on these headsets are great. But this, I think if you're someone who's really looking to get into VR, it's a really interesting time now, because if you would have asked me a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have said it's way too early. But now we're getting to the point where I think things are really starting to move along, and I think it's a good idea to check it out. And if you have the extra cash, check out one of the new Oculus ones or check out the Valve Index, because, I mean, things are just starting to really move along in VR. And yeah, man, I'm super pumped for it. I'm super pumped to see where they take it, because the Valve Index is really, really cool. And it's also not the HTC Index. It's like actually made by Valve now. And that's a nice little endorsement to have. So I think I'm gonna just dive a little bit more into VR nowadays. Kind of sparked my love back up. If you're looking for if you're looking for like to have a really cool piece of tech, and to be, to have this whole new journey into some sort of tech product, VR is a really cool way to go, because it's just one of the things that you put it on. I mean, you're just like engulfed in this really immersive experience. There's just nothing like it. And it's always fun to join in. It is expensive. It's an expensive hobby to get into, and it's still early access. There's still a lot more room still a lot more things that need to happen. But it's easily the most fun early access product that I own. So I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to talk about that. And then also I tried the new MacBook Pros out in the Apple Store today. And I was able to actually sit down and go into Final Cut and just like start editing around. And I think I might upgrade soon, because it's so much faster than mine. I didn't realize how much faster this new update was. But just the new Vega in there, plus the new 9th gen Intel chips, it's just it's definitely a leap in performance to where I'm at.
Just wait for the new 16-inch.
I don't know if I want a 16-inch, but
I don't either. I want a 13-inch, but if the 16-inch has good things in it, I'm gonna want the 16.
I would love a 13-inch MacBook Pro that has all of the 15 inches internals in there.
Same. They're just never gonna make it big enough to do that.
I know. It's a fucking shame that 13 inches is literally the perfect size.
I know.
But yeah, the new MacBooks are fucking, they are nice. They're legit. They're super duper quick. I mean, I was literally like in there keying stuff. I was in there masking things. I was in there like throwing renders together. I was really putting it through its paces. And I was impressed with the performance. And not only that, but I also got to check out the new 4K monitor. And that one's pretty nice too. If you need a monitor, check out the LG 4K one. The only thing the reason why I'm not getting it is it's only Thunderbolt 3 in. So there's no HDMI or DisplayPort. And I wanted to use that with my desktop, and I'm not doing it through some janky sort of connection. And that's it. That's it for the show. Thank you all for listening. We're going to catch you guys next week. Make sure you tune in every week, Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Hit up our website, NoLife.digital. Hit up our Twitter, @NoLifeDigital. And toodaloo. Thank you.
Peace.